When you are resilient, it stops a bad moment from becoming a whole bad day or a bad week or a bad month. And so let me give you an example. When I started my first business, and I was in my 20s, and I think everybody, I teach this, I think everybody who starts a business experiences this at some point. And I would say that any of us who decide to make massive changes in our life experiences at some point. So it's kind of like I decided I was going to start this business, right? And in the beginning, of course, you're excited. You've got enthusiasm. You're like, this was a great idea. You're all excited about it. And it's like the clock starts ticking. And I always kind of picture you're at like 12 o'clock, right? And it starts ticking. And you're excited and you're kind of running on enthusiasm, right? And excitement. But what happens is, as in anything, and particularly in business, you're going to get yeses, but you're also going to get nos. And you're going to get wins, and then you're going to get disappointments. And so what happened is the clock starts ticking, right? And you start to get some disappointments. You start to get some setbacks. You start to get some people who say no, people who cancel on you, somebody who says, what, are you crazy? This is never going to work, right? And all of a sudden, that enthusiasm kind of gets a little crushed. Like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? Why did I think I could do this? And we start to spiral into some self-doubt, into some negative self-talk, into this isn't going to work. What was I thinking? Right? And we get kind of stuck. So the clock is ticking. 3 o'clock, we start to get some, negative feedbacks. By 6 o'clock, now we might be a little stuck. Well, resilient people can get out of stuck. Resilient people can bounce back from that negativity, that disappointment, that frustration, and they can say, you know what, I'm going to take action anyway. I'm going to go move forward. I'm going to keep going with my dream. Non-resilient people stay in stuck because they tend to think they need to wait until they're feeling motivated again before they take action. And I did a whole video on this. It's on my YouTube. About motivation and action, and how action always has to precede motivation, and why those loop together. And so if you're kind of waiting for that motivation, you will always stay in stuck. But resilient people are able to take action regardless of how they feel, right? And so what happens is, when you have a bad moment, the first time I went through this cycle, the first time I went through this cycle from being excited to disappointed to stuck to back in action, it actually took me a couple weeks. It took me a couple weeks to kind of build up my, resiliency, my confidence again, to say, okay, even though this person really disappointed me, even though this was a really big setback, I'm going to start to still move forward.